We're about to dive into a 600-year-old Korean poem that has this surprisingly modern message about our goals, our ambitions, and that feeling that time is always slipping away. It's pretty amazing stuff. Okay, let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? It's this little hum of anxiety in the back of your mind. The clock is ticking, your dreams feel just a little too far off. It feels like such a modern problem, doesn't it? Well, what if I told you it's not? Turns out, people have been wrestling with this exact same feeling for centuries. And a Korean scholar official named Yi Cheom just captured it perfectly in a poem that honestly feels like it could have been written this morning.
So here's the journey we're going to take. We'll start with the poet's big, timeless question. Then we'll see how he uses the world around him to kind of paint a picture of what's going on inside. We'll even meet a couple of historical heroes he looks to for answers. And then we get to the core of it all, this success and fame trap. Finally, we'll see what he discovers in this moment of deep, quiet reflection.
All right, picture this. It's the 14th century. Our poet, Yi Cheom, is standing on the Seon-hyo-won Pavilion. He's looking out at the world, and he asks this question that just kicks the whole thing off.
Wow, what an opening! In Korean, it sounds like no seng sakyo dorojang. He's basically asking, what feels more endless? This life of constant struggle and work, or the actual physical road stretching out in front of me? It's such a profound way to talk about how exhausting it can be to just strive. And right there, with just that one question, he sets up the central problem of the poem. Our lives are short, they're full of effort, and they're set against this massive, almost infinite backdrop of time. So how are you supposed to find any meaning in that? So how does the poet even begin to tackle this? Well, he doesn't just sit us down and tell us he's feeling glum. No, he shows us, using the landscape around him as a perfect mirror for his own soul. He looks out, and all he sees is this deep silence. He thinks about all the great battles, the big dramas, the human struggles of the past. And they're just gone, vanished. Only the river and the mountains are left, and they don't say a word. It creates this feeling of incredible loneliness, you know? The idea that maybe everything we do just fades away. And this is where it gets really cool, because the language itself, these are Korean Hanja characters, builds that feeling for us. You have sawang, which means past events, our fleeting human stuff. Then gangsan, river and mountain, which stands for timeless nature. Ge just means all or entirely, so it amps everything up. And finally, jakmak, that gives us that deep, heavy feeling of silence and desolation. The words literally paint the picture. This line is just brilliant. It's a beautiful, clear autumn day, but he still sees sadness. He looks at the clouds and sees something bleak and sorrowful. See, this isn't a weather report. It's him projecting his own inner melancholy onto the world. His sadness is literally coloring how he sees everything. So, when you're feeling the weight of time and this sense of meaninglessness, where do you turn? For our poet, he looks back into the pages of history, searching for anyone else who might have felt this way. And this is such a powerful move. He realizes, hey, this feeling I have, I'm not the first one. This is a timeless human problem, something that even the greatest heroes of the past struggled with. And by bringing them into his poem, he connects his own small, personal struggle to this huge, sweeping story of humanity. And he calls on two absolute giants. First, there's Liu Gong. That's the famous General Liu Bei. There's a story where he wept because he realized his thighs had gotten soft from not riding into battle. He felt like his time was running out before he could finish his life's work. And then there's Duja, the incredible poet Du Fo, who literally watched his own hair turn white from the stress and sorrow of living through a chaotic era. So you've got the warrior and the poet, a man of action and a man of words, and they both felt the exact same pain. This deep anguish over what they hadn't yet achieved, this feeling of being in a race against time that they were losing. The poet sees himself in them, but why? Why were they all suffering so much? And that question, it brings us right to the heart of the poem. This is the big aha moment. The poet looks at his own sadness, he looks at the sadness of his heroes, and he pinpoints the one thing they all have in common. He gets it. He understands that this anxiety, this feeling of running out of time, this sadness that can spoil a beautiful day, it all comes from chasing after just two little words. And there it is. This is the punchline of the whole poem. 필경 공명 유량자. He says, in the end, It's all because of these two characters. And what are they? 공명.
공명. This is the key that unlocks everything. It's not just about having a goal, it's about the relentless, all-consuming chase for public recognition, for achievement, for making a name for yourself that will echo through history. And here's the poet's incredible insight. He realizes this drive, this thing we call ambition, it isn't the source of our fulfillment, it's the source of our suffering. It's a trap.
So, after this huge realization that the very thing he's been chasing is actually the cause of all his pain, what does he do? Where does he go from there? How do you find peace after that? The poem ends with this beautiful, quiet line. 등두 독조 구방황. He doesn't find some magic answer. He doesn't suddenly accomplish everything he wanted. He just stands there alone and wanders. Now that Korean word, 방황, can sometimes mean aimless wandering, but here it's something much, much deeper. Yeah, this isn't the wandering of someone who's lost. It's the quiet, thoughtful wandering of someone who has just seen the truth for what it is. He's letting go of that desperate chase, he's accepting the sadness, and in that very acceptance he finds a whole new kind of wisdom. And this is the wisdom that his wandering gives us. It teaches us contentment. In Korean, that's jijok, which is the peace you find not from getting more, but from being grateful for what you have. It leads to humility, or gyamson, that feeling that comes when you truly see your own small, beautiful place in the vastness of time. And from that, you find tranquility, pyeongwon, that deep calm that settles in when you finally stop chasing the ghost of Gangmyeong. So, just to be clear, the poem isn't saying, hey, give up on your dreams. Not at all. It's asking us to look at our attachment to those dreams. It's suggesting that real peace isn't found in finally achieving success and fame, but in freeing ourselves from the desperate need for it. And that's what this 600-year-old masterpiece leaves us with. It's a question for all of us. What is the success and fame, the Gangmyeong, that you're chasing in your life? And really ask yourself, is it worth the price you're paying for it?